Alright, so here I am. I think I'm only on day 7 so far. Um, wow. So yesterday, I know I need to learn how to drive a motorcycle, and the best way to do it is to rent a scooter. My biggest thing is getting used to throttling. Just being a cyclist, it's weird, that notion of twisting your arm to go fast. I knew I had a problem with it. I knew I was probably going to wreck a scooter. I wrecked a scooter. Managed to crash it. Ricardo, he saw me do my blog yesterday, and he's like, well, I'm going to rent a scooter. You want to go with me? So I was like, yeah, why not? So we ran a scooters, and we go down, and we stopped, and then we were getting ready to go down the street some more, and I managed to grab the throttle. I went too fast, and even though instinctively with a motorcycle, like I learned to clutch with my left hand and to grip, and like just that way it takes away the throttle. Scooters don't work that way. Um, Lesson learned. Instead, it was the brake. Ends up the throttle was more powerful than the brake. Long story short, it went right off the road, fucking crashed. Ricardo turns around and he's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Like, I got this now." And I looked down and like my knees are all bleeding, and I was like, "Oh," and he's like, "Are you okay?" And he's looking at the bike, and like the wheels all fucking bent, and he's like, "Do you want to go back?" I'm like, "No. I can't even imagine what's going through this man's mind. He's probably thinking, fucking crazy fucking American. Like, what have I gotten into?" He's like, "Do you want to go back?" I was like, No. I ripped out my first aid kit. I put some Neosporin on, put the gauze and some medical tape around my knees. And I was like, "Does a scooter drive?" He's like, "Well, yeah." I went, "Let's keep going. Like, we're here now. We're not going back." Sorry, my voice is a little lost, yelling in the nightclubs last night. So I apologize. So we keep going on, and we find this amazing waterfall. We climb up all the way to the top, of course, and like my little limp ass, all fucking limping and shit. End up blowing out my sandal so that I'm barefoot. Go figure, you know. But have this amazing view. I'll post pictures of the view that we had. But basically, imagine this huge waterfall, probably 200, 300 feet tall, like sporadic all the way down. But took some pictures, and it was just like this waterfall, jungle, and then the ocean, and it just breathtaking. And I didn't get in the water. I was like, I got bandages. I was like, it's probably a bad idea. So Ricardo jumped in the water. He had a lot of fun. I had fun just watching him have fun. I'm like, he's 10 years younger than me. And I'm like, I remember being that young. I was like, if I wasn't crippled. But so we get back on the bikes, and then we proceed. He finds this tower made out of, like, it's not like 2x4s or anything. It's actually just trees that they had cut down. And they had makeshifted this tower that was about 25 feet tall, and like we had to go underneath a barbed wire fence, and like it was hidden, and like we found it. We had picked up some beers from the 7-Eleven because there's 7-Elevens everywhere. So we had picked up some beer, and we sat on top of the tower, and as the sun was setting behind us, we were listening to the ocean crash in front of us, sitting on this makeshift tower. Overlooking this jungle and the ocean. You just can't make these moments up. So I had an amazing time, and then he had some mates in town, so he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna meet up," and I was like, "Yeah, I might go out. So we end up meeting up. We would go to the club district. They wanted to go do all the dancing and everything, and I took it easy. I'm limping around. I'm broken. I've got gauze wrapped around both my knees. I've obviously got this. I did a number on myself. It could have been worse. So as far as I'm concerned, I chalked this up to a learning opportunity. I knew I was going to wreck a scooter. It was bound to happen. It's easier to learn on a scooter than it is a motorcycle, that's for sure. So that's been my train of thought, is like practice on a scooter, and then, hopefully be okay on a motorcycle. Anyway, we go to the nightclub, dancing, and then like we end up at this other place, and they were playing really good music, like some awesome house and trance, and that stuff that I just can't say no to. And of course I end up dancing the night away, sweating to death. I didn't drink very much. I had a couple beers because God knows I had to get back on the scooter. My track record wasn't very high, so I need all the help I can get. So I took it easy, drank a lot of water, but just danced and danced and danced and danced, and it was so much fun. People kept pulling out their phones, and I was just an idiot. Basically me. At one point we were at a bar and there was a stripper pole, and I was like, I just have to. I have to. So I asked them, I was like, do you mind? And they're like, yeah. I don't think they understood quite what they were getting into. Grabbed one hand, spun myself around, got myself with the back, wrapped my legs around, and then I did an invert. I went upside down, kicked my legs out, kicked a fan. They were not very happy. They freaked out. They weren't expecting an American to go upside down on a pole. They were thinking, oh yeah, your knees spin around. Not with me. So I'm doing inverts, all this crazy shit. They eventually kicked me off the pole. My buddies, all these guys I had just met, Ricardo looks at me, he's like, who the fuck are you? I was like, told you I knew how to pole dance. So anyway, danced the night away. Eventually found my scooter. Somebody moved it down the street. Got on it, and I was back at the hostel. Since I don't have a phone, obviously, I knew where I needed to be, but I hadn't really paid attention to landmarkings and stuff like that around the hostel. It's kind of on a back street. So I got here, and I decided the best way to learn on a scooter is with empty roads. So I proceeded to just tear ass around the island, doing like up to 100 kilometers. It was incredible. So I spent 3.5 hours. The sun started coming up. I got some fried chicken and some rice at this like little stand at 5:30 in the morning for 20 baht, which is probably not even, maybe 75 cents, if that. And then went down to the ocean, saw the sunrise come up to the clouds, and eventually it was bright enough that I started recognizing landmarks around me, and I was able to find my way back to the hospital. I got here about 6:30 this morning, and then proceeded to crash for about 3 hours before I had to go deal with the bike. Now the bike's going to be a separate post, because that itself is a whole other story on how I've negotiated repairing a scooter that I wrecked. Anyway, stay tuned. Check out the post about the bike. It's pretty interesting. Anyway, day 7, only 360 more days to go. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see how long this thing lasts. But stay tuned. Check out the bike post because it's going to be fun. Cheers.